Welcome to the show. This is Man Up with Larry Bertok and the Outlaw Apostle. I'm Troy Neff. Larry, dude, finally, we're doing this thing.
Talked about this for a while, get it up and running. I'm kind of excited about this. Let people know what exactly we're going to do with Man Up and what we're about.
Well, who the fuck are we? Why the fuck do you want to listen to us? I already told him I'm going to...
Yeah, I just told him let's kind of keep the F-bombs down and leads into that, so there it is.
Seriously, a little bit, because a lot of, you see a lot of content out there either put on by supposedly wealthy people or, other people, how to be successful, doing this, well, who are we to give fucking advice to anybody? And what I like to call it is I've accepted my oldness now, because I'm 53, so I'm starting to embrace that, 53, and I call it OMW, Old Man Wisdom. And that is because a lot of people have knowledge on different topics, especially young people. They think they know it all, they have knowledge because they read something, okay? But wisdom comes from having experience. That's where it is. That's old man wisdom, it's experience.
I get so bent about that because wealthy people, like you're saying, and I love it when you see these younger kids saying, hey, we got 3 Ferraris over here, learn to make wealth, just send me money and I'll show you how to do it. You can get money anywhere in this world. You can make money everywhere. One thing you can't make is knowledge or wisdom. You either have it or you don't. And a lot of people don't. They focus on where can I make money, and they don't focus on how to build themselves. I did not come from a rich background. I came from actually a pretty modest background. My grandfather didn't believe in giving you anything. Pretty much, you wanted something, you want a bike? Good, go cut the grass. Now you see this generation, not to try to get too much into it, but I want a new bike. Okay, what color and what's the style? And let's go pick it out. And if you don't like that, we'll get you another. That to me is not helping our generation. This is where the wisdom needs to come in from us to let people know what they're really doing.
Well, we're both business owners. I've had ups and downs.
You?
Some crazy journey, and people will learn about that, as we go along. But yeah, like my family, I didn't even know we were poor, really, until I got older. But we were really lower middle class at best. And I had good parents. I had, the new pair of shoes and whatever, they were. So, like, this is how old I am. I go back to Pong, okay? You can talk about your latest, video games, Assassin, what the fuck ever, but no. I go back to Pong, where it was, you got it at Sears, and we hooked it up to a little 13-inch black and white TV, and it had 2 speeds. And that's, that was your advanced thing, right? Your 2 speeds, and how big your paddle was.
Yep.
That with advanced, you had a smaller paddle, and the ball was actually a square. That it bounced. And if you got it past the other person's paddle, you got a point. That was a game. That was video games. That was video games back in the day. But so I'm going to tell this stupid story real quick. So, like, my parents, I love my parents to death. My mom's passed, but I love my parents to death. And good people, but they used to really get tired of me telling this story that at Easter, we were so poor that I got a hollow chocolate bunny. That the chocolate bunny I got for Easter wasn't even solid chocolate, it was hollow. And true story, as an adult, I was probably in the early 30s or whatever by then. My parents got so sick of hearing that story. For Easter, they bought me a solid chocolate bunny.
You had it made. See, I got the box. My brother got the bunny. So I don't know what you're thinking. That's poor. Kids today need to understand what being a man is. They're not being taught, in my opinion, the right way. There's a lot of avenues to go down. And it all does start with yourself. You can't look at someone across the street, what they have, and say, I want that. You have to look at yourself and understand, what am I going to do? Not what are you going to do for me. It's what am I going to do? Everyone can be successful if they want to be. No one handed me anything. Right. I have businesses, I have restaurants, we're in my bar. No one said, here's the keys, take it over and run with it. A lot of trial and error, a lot of failures, which I never want to say failures, you just learn what not to do. And I know you've been down that road.
Oh, yeah,
It's how you learn. But I've always just buckled down, looked forward, and kept going. They don't do that today.
There's no other, I just never thought there was another option besides keep going.
There isn't. There's an option, quit.
And then what?
Nothing. That's the thing. You quit, you have no. You know, and it's, I didn't know the word quit. That's how, I wasn't raised that way. It's just keep going till you get it right.
Yeah.
I had a great family, a very good family, very supportive. They're still supportive today. So, and that to me is worth more than any financial wealth you can ever grow in your life. To know that you can call up your aunts, your uncles, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, and have that conversation that you and I, at this age in our generation, remember, was families got together once a weekend or once a month.
Always.
And there was never a, I don't want to go. And I'll tell you one thing you didn't see. You
Don't
never.
you love when you see a parent ask the kids what they want to do now?
It fries me.
What did your parents ask you what the fuck you wanted to do?
Now look, I tell this story all the time and my wife gets so mad about it. But at dinner at my grandparents, you didn't ask what you were having. This is what you were having. And if my grandfather was there and you did say it, he said, we have take it or leave it. Whichever one you want, that's what you're getting. The best part is, if you didn't like what you had for dinner, it would go in the refrigerator. Seriously, you knew that was going to be breakfast, it was going to be lunch. Bottom line is, you're going to eat this before you eat something else. Because you got to learn to appreciate what you have.
I agree with, you got to appreciate, but I hated that. I did. That's one thing I didn't do to my kid, because my parents did that because I hated peas. And I'm still to this day, I don't eat peas.
My uncle hates
I don't eat a bunch of different vegetables. I wish I did, because with being into fitness and stuff like I am, it'd make my life a whole lot easier if I fucking like broccoli. I don't. But the peas, I remember that, and having to, like, you would be punished. Like, we would, like, today they consider it child abuse. I don't believe I was abused as a child, but, we would sit in the kitchen in the dark outside the window because I wouldn't eat the fucking peas. Okay, you have to make me something else. But I'm not gonna make a kid eat something they don't want to eat. That's just.
I still try to do that. It doesn't work well. My son Gabriel can't stand spinach, or mushrooms for that matter. And I did do this. I said, no, you're gonna eat that spinach. He started eating. He started gagging on it, almost threw up. I said, okay, maybe you don't have to eat the
Yeah,
spinach.
maybe not.
But he tried. How many kids today won't do it?
Yeah.
They just, no, I don't want that, make this. Or the dinner.
Oh.
The other thing you didn't see, Troy, that really gets me, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that will disagree with this, but when you go out to dinner as a family, that's supposed to be a time where everyone's being treated. You're being treated to go out to eat. That's not something you're entitled to. When we went out to eat, it was a treat. One thing that I see today, especially owning restaurants, is kids doing this at the dinner table. I couldn't imagine doing that when I was, we didn't have cell phones then, but you wouldn't do that. You paid attention.
All of our phones still had cords. What are you talking about?
25-foot cord to come out of the kitchen.
Hey, that was an advancement. That was advancement. Right.
It definitely is, but I think what needs to happen is parents really need to understand the way they were raised. Look where they are today. And how are they raising their children? I'm not saying beat a child. No, by no means am I saying that. But if they're doing something they're not supposed to do, discipline is not really discipline. You're teaching them.
Well, you gotta teach them how to be a fucking adult. They have no clue on how to, it's like, you realize in 12 months you can be out on your own, right? You realize you're gonna be, some of them barely can do the laundry. You might get them to do the laundry, but they just basic skills of just life and just having to take care of yourself.
Living skills they don't have.
None.
It's
zero.
Parents take care of it for them.
They take care of everything.
And it makes absolutely no sense. Like cars. That's another one. I've seen where these 16, 17-year-old kids are getting brand new cars. I'm thinking, why? Why would you do this? You're teaching them absolutely nothing about appreciating something. You'll never appreciate anything more than if you work your butt off and you earn it.
What was your first car?
a 1981 Chevy Citation 4-door white with red interior. It was the ugliest thing I ever had, but I'll always remember that car.
How'd you get it?
My grandfather got it, and I had to pay him back. I was working in a restaurant. I started working when I was 12 years old in my grandfather's cousin's restaurant, which was Mel Berman's, used to be in
Oh
Oregon.
yeah, I remember Berman's.
Yeah, see, and back then, I was a dishwasher. They did not have these fancy machines we have today where you put a rack,
No.
you slide it in, you pull it down, and it goes.
Yeah.
No. You stacked, then you scrubbed, then you rinsed, sanitized them, and then set them to dry. And then, when they dried, you stacked them back up and took them over to the kitchen. So that's what dishwashing really was back then. But that's where I worked there as a dishwasher. I moved over to cooks. I mean, I fell in love with cooking, obviously. It's what I do. I absolutely love it. But everything that I had, I appreciated because I knew I was working for it.
Right.
You know, nothing said, here you go. And it's just, to me, that's what some of the problem with, not just with society today.
Right.
Because now, Troy, we're talking about kids. We're talking about the 17 and under. But there's an 18 to 30 in my mind right now that is still being treated like they're 17 and under. Those are the ones supposed to be filling these positions of work that we have now. I mean, there's a worker shortage. There's not a worker shortage.
Well, when did you leave home? How old were you?
18.
When you left home?
18.
Me too. And when I graduated, until those few months when I left, I paid my parents rent.